guys, it's Deanna with Deanna G Photography, and I just wanted to jump on here today and share a couple of tips about getting your husband on board for your next photo session. So spring is right around the corner, and it's also a very popular time to get, family pictures updated. So, and more often than not, there's always one family member, right, that is not on board, or who whines, or who isn't really, shows up to the photo session and is really not into it. And it's kind of a downer. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips. Now this can be used on your husband, but it could also be used on maybe a son or a daughter, or maybe even a grandparent if need be. So how do we all get our husbands on board for your next photo session? So before I jump in for that, I have about, 5 tips and a couple bonuses. I wanted to introduce myself just in case some of you who are coming on to this Facebook Live and don't know who I am. I am a portrait and lifestyle photographer in the Orange County, California area, and I love helping my clients look and feel their best in front of the lens so that they can cherish their images for a lifetime. So that's part of why I'm on here right now, is to just kind of share with you some things that are to get all of you guys looking and feeling your best at your next photo session. And that is getting your husband on board, okay, with the session. So let's go ahead and jump in. I don't have a ton of time. I got to scooch off and get my kids here at school real quick, but I wanted to go ahead and start with number 1, and that is to keep it short and simple, okay? So if you know that your husband isn't into long photo sessions, make sure you get a mini. Make sure you don't do a session that's longer than 15 or 20 minutes. And I got to tell you guys, 20 minutes is more than enough to get a couple of a variety of great shots and fill your gallery up with at least 20 to 50 photos. So that is if you are with an experienced photographer like myself. I'm able to pull even sometimes up to 80 photos in a 20-minute period. So just make sure that you're, keeping your session short so that the husband doesn't lose interest and starts to whine and complain and bring you down for the photos, right? All right. So number 2 would be make him part of the process, okay? Ask him what would make him feel comfortable. Would it be going with a photographer that's a little bit more candid, where he can just kind of sit back and be himself, and the photographer is going to capture him for who he is? Or does he want to be gently posed or posed altogether? Maybe he's super uncomfortable and he doesn't know where to put his arms, how to turn his head, or and maybe he's looking to a photographer for a little bit more direction so that he feels that he's looking on point. Well, ask him, what does he, prefer? And also when it comes to the location, maybe give your husband a couple of options. Hey, hon, what do you think? Are you thinking more about a beach, setting, open field, maybe a park, maybe a favorite park you guys like to go to as a family? So just make sure that you make him a part of that process. Number 3 would to do his styling, okay? So no man wants to have to be left responsible for figuring out what he's going to wear and how he's going to look when he shows up to this photo session that chances are you've arranged for the family, right? So you just want to make sure that you're like, hey, hon, I got your back. I've got your outfit fully, dry cleaned. Everything's ironed, ready to go. It's laying out on the bed. All you have to do is get dressed, okay? Guys love that stuff. So it really takes the guesswork out of, how he's supposed to be presenting himself, okay? So that really helps. Number 4 would be not to schedule the photo session around any important sporting event games, or maybe any games of your children where they're going to have to miss. I know a lot of husbands don't like that. Or even right after work, who wants to come, flying in from work, to have to get dressed, get ready, and head out for a photo session. Maybe some of us women wouldn't mind that, but I know a lot of the men would mind. So just make sure that you're scheduling the photo session in and around a time that's going to work for all of you, okay? Now, here we are. Okay, number 5, stick to the budget, okay? No one wants to feel like, oh my God, I just spent $1 bazillion on this photo session and, just for a couple of pictures, maybe to update in our house. Or maybe your husband doesn't care, but just make sure you discuss a budget with him so that he's not feeling stressed and overwhelmed when he gets the bill, okay? All right, now a couple of bonuses that I have for you guys would be, let's see, where's this bonus I wrote down? Oh, yes. Schedule something fun after the photo session, like a date night, or maybe you take the whole family out to dinner if you had a sunset shoot. Or maybe it's in the morning and you guys can all head out to a nice brunch afterwards. You know, you guys are already dressed up, right? So give everyone something to look forward to after the session is done. This almost always helps them to keep a positive attitude because they're like, ooh, you know what? I just got to take a couple pictures, but then I cannot wait until after the session to go to, you know, whatever place you guys are going to decide to go eat or whatever, or have a Mai Tai or whatever you guys are going to do. But just give something there, you know, just give an incentive, okay? That always helps. And my final and last bonus and tip would be to make sure that everyone is well fed, especially your husband, because we all know a way through to a man's heart, everyone, is through his belly, okay? And you don't want him showing up hangry, all right? Definitely make sure that you've got a nice hearty snack for your husband to eat, whether, you know, before he gets dressed, or maybe you can do some sort of snack that's not so messy that he can, you know, dabble in on the way. But just make sure that your man is not showing up hungry, okay, that he's well fed. And make sure you're well fed as well, because nothing's worse than making sure everyone's dressed, ready to go, and then you show up and your stomach's growling and you're having a hard time focus and relaxing and making sure that you look fabulous. So anyway, I hope, guys, that these tips and tricks helped you, and hopefully next time when you want your husband to be on board for your next photo session, you're going to implement these tips and he's going to be ready and, you know, excited to go and to show up. And just for fun's sake too, I would love to hear which tip out of the ones that I mentioned that you liked most, or maybe you guys have one that you use on your husbands. Please definitely don't hold back and share it with me, because I am always looking for things, because I know even as a photographer, my husband doesn't always love going to our family photo sessions. So anyway, I try to use a lot of these tips to make sure that he does at least show up with a positive attitude. So, and I hope yours will too. Anyway, whether it's here on Facebook Live or behind my lens, guys, have a great day.